Welcome on the show and happy new month, new week, new Heidi.
Oh.
It's you, you,
That's nice.
and I believe, we missed you. And
Yeah.
since Heidi is traveled, we've been talking about Heidi. Heidi's like, we have some codependency on Heidi. Which possible
Yeah.
means, oh, I wish ID is here. Like, okay. So it's good to have your ID. I'm sure the viewers want to see you, and they'll be very happy to see you. Welcome
Thank
back.
you.
Thank
Thank you
God.
so much. Thank you. I miss you too. And I was solving my codependency issues on my children, and it's hard to be away from the kids that long
Mhm.
all of a sudden. But it was good. It was healthy actually because they stayed with their dad, so that's awesome. And it's always good to do good things and to learn new things. I learned so much in this trip that I feel like I'm renewed, like you said.
Fa- Fantastic. Idea. I think you've got a breakthrough. You're getting breakthrough with
Yeah.
this code. Actually, you are the serious codependency person. We've talked so many times on the show about you and just wanting to hold on with the girls forever and ever. But you're doing very well. You've traveled this year like 3 times, 2 times without them.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Halfway, you wanted them to come join you.
Yeah, they did. They came for 6 days. Yeah, and that was
Wow.
good. But I'm grateful that they are growing and they are um, they're you don't need me around all the time now. So I'm grateful that this is happening. I'm seeing that, so it's good. I'm growing too,
Yeah,
so I'm happy with that.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. But Heidi, I don't know if Liz heard about the whole shenanigan that happened to Heidi. Did she tell you the story? But I heard it. And I will give you a snippet of what Heidi said. Heidi was telling me this story. Maybe Heidi, you can share it. She carried me on this journey. My coach already said, don't go on the journey with people when they're telling you story. But for a minute, I forgot. And I was going on the journey with Heidi. I was shaking. I'm like, just tell me you are okay now. Just tell me. And then she kept on going. At the end of the day, the story was oh my gosh. Heidi, please share this story. We want to hear.
Oh, really? You want to hear about it? Okay, I'll quickly tell you. Before I went to Bali this time, I knew that I was gone for a long time, but I felt really powerless, like weak physically before I left, and it was growing, on me. And then I started going to sleep, like having naps during the day again, like I did back in November. So I thought, okay, this must be iron problem again. So 3 days before I left, I went to the doctors and I begged them to give me an iron infusion. And to find a doctor that would give me an iron infusion without them doing a blood test before was very difficult. Anyway, found this one, and then he gave me the iron infusion. I end up in Bali, and then I feel a little better, but you know what? I'm working. I've got my client. So I have a client and I'm working all day long and I'm seeing my other clients as well. And I'm so occupied and I feel so drained again. So it took me maybe 2 or 3 days. So I thought, okay, what could it be? What could it be? I have no idea. I'm thinking, okay, it must be B12. So I'm going to go to the hospital in Bali, request for a B12 injection. And so I went, and then they wouldn't give me one, obviously, because they need to see me by doctor, and I need to convince them that I know what I have and that I usually have this one. And I lied because I never had it. So anyway, so they gave it to me. All right, I felt better for 3 days and then back down again. And then I kept doing up and down like that every 3 to 5 days till one day I was just taking my top off, and then all I feel is click, and I don't know what's clicking. So I thought, just a bone somewhere. And then I get dressed, I go out, and then like 5 minutes later, I cannot breathe. And I kept trying to locate where the pain is. What happened is that I popped my ribs at the back. So my ribs just came out of space, came out of place. Now, this is something that has never
Happen-
occurred to me. This is the first time.
Yeah.
Never happened. I popped a rib back, like rib number 4 or 5, I can't remember, but it was a rib, pop back. And I can't put it back in place, and I'm dying. I can't breathe. And every time I need to breathe really shallow, and I can't talk because of the pain. I felt like vomiting because of the pain. I couldn't talk because of the pain, and I can't walk because of the pain, and I don't know what to do. So I walked, took myself to the next door to the hotel. Right in front of it, there is a massage place. I went there and I said to the lady, "Fix my back. Just try to fix my back. Something is wrong with my back." And then I couldn't speak. I couldn't. Tears are just coming down my eyes, and I can't talk, I can't breathe, and I can't tell her what I want. And I have Anna on the phone on FaceTime, and she's telling her what to do with my back, because this apparently happened to Anna before. So she told her, put your hands like this, as a butterfly, and go on her ribs from up down to bottom. Okay, fix it like this. And then the lady couldn't do it. So the lady called for the healer, a Balinese healer who doesn't speak any English. The guy comes with all the oils and everything. The guy is smoking with one hand. Can you imagine this? An 8-year-old healer from Bali smoking with one hand, his hand, his other hand on my back, rubbing my back, okay, with specific oils. And I'm going, I don't care. Fix me up. I don't mind. Put the smoke in my hair. I don't care. The guy is doing this. Anyway, he eventually ends up, giving the smoke to the girl. And then Anna screaming on the phone, looking at this happening. And I am going, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just fix, just fix, just fix. He couldn't fix it. So I went back to the hotel, and after like spending maybe 2 hours there trying to do something about my account, I couldn't. So I tried to make an appointment at a chiropractor, and then the only chiropractor I could find was 2 days later. Now I don't know what to do. So I decided to take lots of painkillers and try to sleep, because that was really late at night. So I tried to do that. I took lots of painkillers, tried to go to sleep, and I woke up 3 hours later from the pain. Now I'm crying, I'm on my knees, and I couldn't do anything but pray. I'm just praying. There's nothing else I could do. What can I
Wow.
do? Please God, I don't know what's happening. And you already know I'm powerless. You already know that I am going to the hospital every 3 days to take this injection. You already know that I'm going through hell on my own. And now this thing in my back, what is it that you want to do with me? And just do it. I'm not gonna be resisting, I'm surrendering. But just give me something to work with, because you know that I'm not gonna sit and rest here, because I want to find an answer. So
Wow.
I just said, I'm gonna find the answer on my knees. Pray, 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 pray. And then I heard this sound in my head, okay, telling me, what are you doing, you idiot? You're an idiot. You found the reason why you were sick for many years using Google. Google it. Google it. And I just took my phone, Tammy. I Googled it. How to pop a rib back in. The first video that came out was from this doctor, okay, and he has a YouTube channel for how to pop all the bones and
Ah,
everything,
oh my
back in. Three
gosh.
minutes later, I was done.
Hygiene. I have been seeing people, I've never seen anyone as tough as you are. You were by yourself in a strange land.
Yeah.
And you pop a rib, went to the next door neighbor and said, fix my back. I was so scared to death because if they accidentally touch your spine, if they're not sure about what they're doing, this is a rib and you're already short of breath. I was so scared. And I don't know where you got your energy from, but God helped you and
Oh,
saved
definitely.
you.
Definitely.
I can't believe it. I'm thinking when you were telling me, I'm thinking, if that happened to me, in a strange land, I'll be saying to my family, somebody should take the next available flight, take a private jet, do whatever. I'm just, you know, I'll be praying and I'll be doubting this case because I hate being sick in a strange land. I hate it so much. Really risky because health system there will be definitely different from our health system here. So where you have confidence, but I thank God that you're back and you're well. When you were telling me I'm too scared, I'm like, Heidi, you were on wheelchair before. Lord, I don't want any more wheelchair.
No, no.
I hope this is ending well, but truly,
Yeah.
thank God it ended well. So you got B12, you got all these infusions, and you're back. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
amazing! But at the end of the day, 3 minutes you were fixed. When God wants to, when rises up to help you, it will be like a magic. Like, oh, I've been suffering for 5 days. All of a sudden now it's only 3 minutes. What that? You know, that's God in action. And I'm really grateful.
Yes. Yes. 100%. Yeah.
So your lovers, you have a lot of lovers on the show. They want to know where you were and what happened. So now they heard I don't need to be talking to people answering. Welcome back. Let's go on a break and we will
Thank
be.
you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Wow. I think Liz is here. Hi, Lizzie.
I
Oh my gosh. Did you hear all this story?
I missed the last part, but yeah, I followed the story. Yeah, what an
Really?
amazing God we serve.
Yeah.
I know. Thank God.
Yeah,
So it's a miracle. I mean, it's also encouraging. Like, I got so much strength that if things like that happen, you pop your back, you pop your rib, whatever it is, you just have
yeah,
to and believing and you'll be right, as they
yeah,
say. I'm glad.
yeah. And I'm really happy to see Heidi, as she rightly say, equally growing into a person of her own, really developing that persona without the girls. Really,
Mm.
that's absolutely commendable.
Thank you.
When you said the girls are growing, I wanted to say you are growing. You
I
are
know.
growing. Yeah, yeah. You've come so far, and that's really good to see.
Yes. Thank you, Liz. Thank you. And it takes a lot of work on yourself. You know that. We
Yeah,
need to
Mm,
work so much on ourselves, right?
can't
yeah,
believe it.
absolutely, absolutely.
Where you were last year and where you are today, what a different person. We really
Yeah.
so that's what we're saying on the show. When we share things on the show, it's something that we work on ourselves as well. We go back and we reflect on, and we're building ourselves as we believe we're supporting you as well, and you're growing with us. Amazing. So this topic, though, I need to put it out there. I don't know. The echo is coming. I don't know, Heidi. Can you hear the echo as well, or is it just me?
Yes, yes. Would you like me to mute myself? I'll mute myself.
It wasn't. I think it's coming from Lizzie's phone.
Is it? Okay.
Let me see now. Liz, leave. Let yours off, Liz. Let's know if it's Heidi's, because when Heidi muted that, it seems as if the noise went. So I don't know where it's coming from. So Liz, can you unmute? Okay. So we'll pick up whose phone it is in a minute. It's Liz's, I'm sure. But anyway, today we have to say, what is the word parental guardian? I didn't put it in the schedule, but today could be talking about things that might not be appropriate for children. We're going to be talking about the children, but be mindful that we might share things that might not be appropriate, also things that might touch you. But the essence of our topics today is that you need to know. If you know better, you do better. You will hear from the stories that we might share tonight, how ignorantly we have people have, they dropped the ball somehow unconsciously, and it has resulted to a very disastrous situation. So on the show, we're educating ourselves and we're educating you on how to manage your loved ones, and especially the children. So this topic is inspired by what happened recently, actually to a friend of mine, and I shared that with Liz. And Liz is that we've got resources for it. This is the kind of thing that she deals with at work. And I know Heidi has shared one with us here on the show before. I never forget it also. But this is very, very important now that we actually talk about age appropriate behavior in children. And we never talk about it. We just say, oh, they're just being spoiled. We lose words like it's just being spoiled, but it's actually more than just being spoiled. It's something very critical and needs to be dealt with before it gets out of hand. So, age appropriate behavior in children. What is it? I looked into it. It's a concept whereby some activities might not be appropriate to a level or a stage of development. So, like a child could be persistently, I think we need to emphasize the word consistently, doing things that might not be appropriate for their age, either consciously or unconsciously. But for us as parents, as caregiver, guardians, whoever, a custodian, you need to know what to look out for and how to help the children that are very, very critical to us. And I'm shocked when I actually researched this, what is appropriate, what is not appropriate, what is happening there, because a lot of times you don't talk about it and you don't know. But like I said, please, you can unmute yourself and get us into this today's topic. I think where we're going
Um,
to we've talked about what is it or what is appropriate.
yeah, look, I think let's call it what it is. We're talking about age appropriate sexualized behavior in the kids. And of course, children, the developmental phases are different. And because of that, today we're going to look at 0 to 4, just to, make it easier for ourselves in terms of how we go.
Mhm.
But then, there are so many other categories for the kids. So there are certain sexualized behaviors among the children, according to the Central Bureau for Sexual Assault that we have that regulates the support with regards to sexual assaults in Victoria. They are saying that there are certain appropriate behaviors for those the particular category that we are looking at, and if anything is outside of that category, the parent, the caregiver, the teacher, or whoever is working with this child should become concerned, should be looking for help. Our purpose is really to create this awareness, because this is the age group or the category in which foundations are laid, and kids build on this very foundation that has been laid. Equally, perpetrators also develop whatever they develop for the children from this age onwards. So, it goes both ways for caregivers to really become aware of what the kids are doing and intervene early. Should I go that far, or do we start picking on the appropriate behaviors?
I think we can talk about the appropriate behaviors. One of the things that I saw with appropriate is self-esteem. You know, appropriate. I saw one that says able to. Did I write it somewhere? Listen to others. When people are talking, you listen. And, I remember a lot of kids sometimes when the parents are talking on the phone, they'll be throwing tantrum, mom, I want to talk, mom. So it depends on how far the kids go. If the kids are able to wait and hear and listen, then that is very appropriate. And for 4-year-old, they should be able to be taking a bit of responsibility there. Uh, and also empathy. Empathy, I was shocked to see empathy in children, that if somebody falls, a child needs to say, oh, sorry. If you have a child, you're falling or you're breaking things and they careless, then that is quite inappropriate. So empathy is so interesting to see that. I love that in children. And conflict management, very appropriate. Like when a child maybe refuse to give you a toy, uh, it's not, we deal with that later, but refuses to give you a toy to play with, and then the teacher says to you or your mom says it's okay, she'll give you in 5 minutes, let her play with it. You should be able to wait for 5 minutes at 4-year-old. If you're not able to wait and you kept on rolling on the floor and trying to, that's a concern, should be managed before it gets. So those are the few appropriate behavior that I see in children. I'm not sure. Heidi, you can go.
Yeah, it's really controversial. This topic is very controversial, because what's appropriate in my community as the Egyptian community is totally inappropriate in some other communities, and vice versa. So it's very much not just age related, community related, religion related, social ability related, social community related. There's so many different, like I'm not allowed, if I would go to my church,
Mm,
I'm not allowed to be wearing short sleeves.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at church as an adult,
Mm,
there's like, the priest would tell me to go and cover up.
yeah.
Some
I
priests would.
All churches should be like that, ideally. All churches, because that is not a club, that is not a pub, that is not where you dress. In my community, it's indecency. In the Bible, it's indecency. Nobody goes nude. When David went nude and danced, it was noted in the Bible. So yes, in the church you're right, and I like the way you took it and where you took it to. You're very right. It's not supposed to be appropriate either.
So there's so many different ways we need to look at this appropriateness. There's so many different areas and facets. But what I'm really interested in what Liz is saying is that she's taken it in the area of sexuality,
Yeah.
and everybody's sexuality is the same. We are children, like babies, toddlers, children, and then we are teenagers, in adolescence and all of that. So this is very much defined and very much identified in our heads, as parents and as grown-ups. We know that this child is not supposed to be doing this kind of activity at that age.
Yeah.
This is not something that is appropriate. Now the problem is that I'm sadly going to say it is a problem.
Yeah.
It's the confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people are currently confused.
Mm.
You go to childcare centers and you look at their teachers and they're confused.
You're very right, ID, because even the Center Against Sexual, what are they called, assault, which is the area that we're looking at, the concept that they're using was even wrong. One of the things that they wrote there, for me as a parent, I disagree. I think, Liz, you got the list. One of the ones that they said, they said, touching yourself and rubbing yourself, your own genital as a child, 0 to 4. So we're categorizing 0 to 4. We're doing 5 to 12, and then we're doing 13 to 18. So this time we're focusing on 0 to 4. They said as a 0 to 4, touching your own private parts and playing with this is appropriate. In my community, they will smack your hand even at 4. Not appropriate. That's not a toy. What are you doing with it? You know?
Mm,
So seriously, we would do that. So for me, you are right that it's controversial, but I will smack my kid and say, put your pants on, son or girl. That's not a toy. But with what we read with the CASA, they said it's okay, isn't it, Elise?
Yeah, well, it says it is appropriate, but then also we need to know appropriateness equally has a time and a place.
mm,
So because the boy maybe or the child, let me not say the boy, that the child maybe plays with their genitals at home after the shower or when the child is naked, um, does not necessarily mean it's inappropriate. There, it could be appropriate. But if that persists, if that's all he does when it comes to playtime, then as a parent,
Mm-hmm.
you need to become concerned. So it's all about looking at it's all about looking at when is this happening, how often is this happening, how long does this go on. So as a parent, these things will give you an indication whether even at 4, even at 2, this is appropriate. Because the book says that we've got developmental phases,
Yeah.
but that differs from person to person.
Mm-hmm.
Ordinarily, boys start talking at around 4, 5, but you've got some boys starting to talk at 2.
mm,
So developmental phase is not cast in stone.
Mm-hmm.
It differs from person to person. And therefore, as Heidi was rightly saying, what we say is appropriate for 0 to 4 is not cast in stone, because it could be appropriate for this little child to maybe touch his genitals at 2, while as it would absolutely be inappropriate for a 6 months old to be rubbing, all the time. You look at your 6 months old baby, the baby keeps rubbing. You'll be like, what? Something is not right here. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's really that consciousness that we are after,
mm,
to just raise that awareness among the parents. Yes, the book says 0 to 4, but still, it's your child. It's an individual person you are working with. It's not a 0 to 4 you're working with. And
Working with.
therefore, yes, therefore, zoom into the person you are working with, get to know the person you are working with, so that you can stop what needs to be stopped, smack off what you need to smack off when it becomes inappropriate. It's a matter of persistence, it's a matter of frequency. It's a matter of time, it's a matter of place.
Mm-hmm. True.
These are the things, parents need to be aware of. So the fact that we say um, touching or rubbing your own genitals is appropriate at the age of 2, but it becomes concerning when it persists. At the age of 2, every time the mother looks, you are sitting there massaging, then you know it's concerning. You need to get into that and wanting to understand. So that persistence, when it becomes a secret activity, when your 4-year old isolates herself, every time you are looking for your child is with the mobile phone, and they like being under the bed or under the table or whatever, you know so
Wow.
I think that's where we are coming in. Because on the other hand, there is an aspect of innocent curiosity that kind of provokes that spontaneousness and laughter in the family. We laugh. When a little girl comes and all she does is sitting in front of all of us like this,
I,
splitting her legs. It's beautiful.
it's not
It's
beautiful. We'll go on a break. We'll be back. That is not beautiful. I will smack you. We'll be back. Welcome back on the show. I'm sure people should have things to say to who today. Is it least I saying it's beautiful to flip everything open at at
Yeah, I
old.
mean, what you should get it in the context of what we are talking about. When a little girl comes and she does that, we look at how flexible she is, and she can become the next ballet dancer and all kinds of things, and we laugh about it. But we are not going to allow her to become 4 years old and to do that in front of us. We will start teaching her that there is a time and place for splitting. You will start pulling off her dress, and
Yeah,
that's how you teach her, how to close her legs.
thank you so
So
much.
yeah, that's where you start, showing her the ropes. When you open your legs, at least you pull off your dress so that you have to cover what has to be private. That's where the teaching of privacy comes in.
Mhm.
You don't, open up surprises left, right, and center. Surprise is for that moment. Otherwise, it's not a surprise anymore. I mean,
I love this. Some parents, get caregiver or custodians are so ignorant and they're so careless, so careless, like you rightly said. At age 4, you're splitting all the time, not minding the visitors, not minding your uncles or your, what are you splitting for in the lounge room when we're all there? And the parents, what are they doing? They lost minded. They're not there. They're not focusing. They're not paying attention. This is what we're saying.
and that is inappropriate.
That is quite inappropriate. Your grandfather is there. You're splitting at 4, at 5. That is terrible. And that parents is very negligent because this girl will go to the park and be splitting, and then you get the pedophile there. And sometimes at 4 or 6, I mean, let's say maybe 6, 7, they want to go to the park themselves and say, I want to go to the park
Yeah.
just in front of the house. And then all you go there is to be splitting. That is quite inappropriate. But I think we should talk more about what is inappropriate. I saw one thing that they said: when a child is watching a movie and the parent is there, then we need to be very mindful. Uh, Games, the age appropriate until they put it. Sorry, I'm still hearing. Until the maybe the adverts, adverts. We need to be careful because you know what we talk about the government introducing all these. safe school, all this nonsense thing into the schools, introducing to the kids. But as a parent, you are at home, you're probably in the kitchen or ironing or doing something, and you put your child 24/7 on the video. And that's one thing we're going to talk about. People game 24 hours on the game. And you said so that they don't disturb you. But you don't know what adverts, what things slips in, what interlude slips in. I think we need to be very mindful. That's the purpose of today. And I really want it to enter into all of our brains as a caregiver as well. What are you watching when you're supposed to watch a kid? That's why I will not take your kid if I have every other activity to do. If I take a kid to mind a kid, everybody knows I stop everything I'm doing. I'm focusing on the kids. We're playing, picnicking, we're doing something. I'm engaging the child. You know, Nobody has asked you to bring a child to this world and you've been whinging and complaining you don't have time. ID still has time at 18 years for her children. So you brought children to this world, you don't have time, as if someone is asked you to bring them to this world. What are you doing? So this type of a thing really gets into me when your children now grow up and then they become wayward and you start to abuse them too. But you've been wayward yourself all year through to where they were. So you need to be mindful what you are imputing into those children, what you're teaching them, what attention you're giving before you start to blame them when they become a teenager and then they're on the street. What are you doing?
Yeah. Heidi, you wanted to say something?
No, I'm good. I wanted to hear more about from you. I wanted to hear more about um, where is this study made?
Australia. So they call there's one in America that's from America, but there's one that is called the Center for uh, Sexual. What do you call the Center
Sexual assault.
Against
Sexual assault.
Sexual Assault? And also there's Family First, Child Protection, because they see a lot of cases that they brought to them, so they're developing these concepts to teach us what to be mindful of, what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. So we had time, myself and Liz, to actually go through because you were overseas. Uh, but I like this fact that you threw into it. Like, we're talking about this, how about the religion? How about the culture? That is very, very vital. In my culture, we disagree with some of these caste concepts because he's saying that I believe also has has debunked it to say if the child is doing it in the bathroom, in the place and time, after shower and when that's okay. But if that's all you continually doing, then we need to be mindful of it is not a joke anymore.
Mm.
So another one, Liz, is another inappropriate case that you got.
Yeah, look, they say it's appropriate for kids to play doctor. At that age, it's appropriate for them to, play mommy and daddy. So really, I think, when that happens, that's all right. You can still look at it as they come together, like particularly when there is a visit, when the cousins and the nieces and the nephews come. There's a lot of house playing that happens, and I remember being a victim, of sexual assault during those house plays. Really, and I have worked through my own traumas and what I've gone through, and because of that I'm able to talk about it. These mommy and daddy and house play is something culturally that we really need to watch carefully, you
Mhm.
know because there's a lot of inappropriate behavior. There's some grown kids that take advantage of the little ones during this, let's play house, let's play doctor, and it really just gets drawn out of proportion. So as much as the curiosity is appropriate, and it's beautiful to put on those, how do you call the
Stethoscope.
yeah,
Stet-
stethoscopes, and put on your mother's apron, and you come there as a patient, and it could be your brother, it could be your nephew, whoever standing there with the stethoscope, like as a doctor, and all of a sudden they start touching, and you have no idea how far this goes. So yes, it is appropriate. Play is appropriate, but it is in play and through play that abuse comes.
Mm, mm.
So we really need to be, looking at some of our, you know, what has become normal because of culture. We
Yeah,
really need to look at that very, very curiously, and particularly in a country like this where kids become responsible for their actions at a very early age.
exactly.
You really want to inculcate the appropriateness of certain behaviors equally at a very early age, because you can lose your child to the police just like this.
That's right.
Really.
Yes.
I think from 10 years, or what did you say? Now it's not 10 anymore?
With 9 years, even your name, you like juvenile criminal, juvenile
Yeah,
sex offender, you know. And I like what you said, Liz, when people are doing doctor. I think if you're doing doctor, if you leave your clothes on, whatever. But when you are doing mom and dad, why are you doing mom and dad? Really? Why are you doing what does mom and dad kiss? Mom and dad hugs. Mom and dad what are you doing about mom and dad? I think we should be very, very mindful. I watch kids sometimes. You see 9-year-old chasing 7-year-old sisters and brothers, running over, sleeping on top of each other, hiding under the door every time.
that's inappropriate.
What a silly thing is
That's
that?
concerning.
The
That's
brother
highly concerning.
like 10 years, the sister is 7 years, and you're sleeping, you're split, you every time they sit on the same chair, they can't even part. They're gluing and what's this? And no one says it. So I have to act, step in there and act. But how long am I going to be acting? Do I live with you? I don't. So if your parents think this is right, and even I told the parents too that this is why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? But not getting it. But eventually, it resulted to something nasty, badly. You see. So when you are doing all this little nonsense play at home, I mean, 10-year-old, all you do is assault 24/7, rough play, jumping. You're searching for something. You are very restless, becoming irresponsible, and eventually it will come out. And I also like this story that Liz shared once. We're gonna go on the break, and you tell how careless. And I think every time I'm hearing this, it seems as if women I think are even the most careless. I'm sorry to say, but most of the times the stories I hear is that either instigated it, initiated it, or careless enough. I would like you to share that story before we go finalize for today, as we have them all in stages. Watch out, we'll be back. Welcome back. Our topic, age appropriate behavior in children. And we've been talking about what is appropriate, what you need to be looking for from 0 to 4, what is acceptable. One of the points I saw is when a kid is looking at adult genital area, or even adult looking at adults. You're talking to me, all you are looking to is my boobs. Have you lost something that you want to get? So this is inappropriate. Keep your face on my eyes. You're talking to me. Yoruba will say Ojulorowa. The talk is in my eyes, not in my boobs. So watch out if you're doing that, because you'll be caught. You will go to jail. Be careful. That's what we're talking about. And Liz shared something that I one story before. I'll let you share that before we end it for tonight, please. About the
Yeah,
child shower or something.
And this is really, when we were talking about, every house has got their own culture. In some houses people stay naked. I know about, family members who, they don't care. They go to the bathroom, shower, and come out like that. I know about households that are like that, so it's okay if it's the culture in your house, but certain things provoke or develop certain, emotions among people based on who and what we are and how we tick. And as a mother or as a father, you have no control over what's happening in the other person's mind. In saying that, this family, and I can put the link of this video in the chat so that people can actually go and see that. This
Mm.
family, the women had, step daughters before she met this guy, and this little 2-year-old came into the bathroom where the father was taking, like a bath or lying in the bathtub. The stepdad and the mother was, together with him in the bathroom, and she started playing, putting her hand into the bathtub and started playing. And the father was, pushing the kid's hand away. And the mother said, "No, leave the child. She's just 2 years old. She's got no idea what she's doing." And, you know, that in that moment something developed in this pedophile's head, and eventually he has been raping this kid since she was around 2 years old, and that is all
Wait,
this child knew. And
two.
she had an older sister. I mean, him being a pedophile, he's also been doing these things to the older sister. This girl grew up and eventually started confronting the father about this. And made a documentary. So I'm not telling stories. I'm talking about something that I watched a documentary for. And they are in Namibia. They're quite known. The guy currently, as we speak, is in jail. So this is what we are saying. There's cultures in families that can enable behaviors, perpetrator behavior in, an adult. So we also need to be aware of some of these cultures in our own homes. Like kissing each other, kissing your child on your lips and allowing your child to be kissed by everybody else who is arriving at home.
That's true.
Is that a good culture? I don't know.
No, it's not.
So we really need to look at some of the practices that we have so that we don't enable perpetrator behaviors, because some of us are weak.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the way to put it, but some of us are perverts.
It's not the way to put it that we're weak. It's just that people are very ignorant and very careless as well. Because I think it doesn't matter. You will know when somebody is too close to your child. You will know. Do you do that, yourself? Are you looking onto somebody's private part? When you catch your child, what we do is when you catch your child, you pretend as if you didn't say it. It's very bad, and then you close your eyes as if, oh my gosh, I didn't see that. And you never call the child, you never scold the child, you don't know how to say it, and then it develops. You need to say it to your child. That is not right. I caught you. I will tell you, I caught you doing that. I caught you, looking at somebody or touching somebody. The thing also is the story you told us, Liz. It's a pathetic story because that child does not belong to that man. That's not his child. Even if that was your child, you're not gonna come and say, "My child, you want to touch my husband." Are you crazy? Even at 2, you we will lock our door. By the way, you're not coming in because you shouldn't be saying that. We'll lock our door. You will 2-year-old has to be with somebody like an adult looking after that 2-year-old outside. You're not coming in. If by any chance you come in, you're playing with my excuse me. And plus, this child does not even belong to that man. That woman is very, very, I don't want to use what is in my mouth, but it's sad. And this is how it ended. The man could be in jail, like you said, but that has not changed anything. These two children or whatever they are now, they've been abused, assaulted, and who knows how they're going to accept it or how they're going to manage it for the rest of their lives. These things are not right. I'm really grateful that we discussed this topic, really, and I hope it will go to the right people. This is the thing, and they will hear it and they will share it to whoever needs to hear. What is the practice in your house? What is the practice? Your child is 10-year-old and you're nude in presence in the front of your 10-year-old son. And the boy will go to the room and put blanket over his head and be rubbing. God will forgive you because you're causing these children to fail, to fall, to sin, and you're ruining their lives. Because what are they going to become in future? Pedophile. May God help you that that will not be your case. It's really sad and beautiful, but we don't have to end the show tonight. Next week is going to be 5 to 8 years old, and we're going to bring this topic back. Be blessed.
Good.
We've done our
Thank you.
bit. Very sad. Anyway, it's good to see. See you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.